All right, everyone, welcome back. I am Ray Run. Today, I've got another manga book for you to kind of go through a little bit. This is the Incurable Case of Love. Now, just a fair warning: there's going to be a little bit of spoilers because I'm going to be talking about this particular volume one, kind of as a general perspective. So we'll just go ahead and dive in from there. So we'll go ahead and read the back here real quick. Alright, so after witnessing a handsome and charming young doctor save a stranger's life 5 years ago, uh, Nancy Sakura trained to become a nurse. But when she meets the doctor again and they start working together, she finds Kari Tendu to be nothing like the man she imagined him to be. So, let's dive into this. So at first, I was a little bit skeptical about this. I actually bought this manga from a bundle set that I got Demon Slayer Volume 1 from. So it came with several other mangas, this one being one of them. And I decided, let me just dive into it a little bit. It may not be for me. But overall, it was quite interesting. This is one of those mangas that, you find a charming young woman who, wants to find that perfect partner. And then when she runs into Dr. Tendu, she thinks she has found that person. And basically, the way it kind of starts out is that we've got our main character, Miss Sakura, the nurse here, who wasn't a nurse at the time. At the very beginning of the story, basically, she helps this young lady out. She cries out for help. And then Tendu comes and helps the old lady that has fallen over and was able to nurse her back to health. And she realized that this guy is a doctor, and she basically wanted to get into the medical field to basically date him. So basically, everything you are told not to do when it comes to loving a person. So definitely quite interesting dynamics when it comes to the story and the plot. So here are the chapters. So instead of saying like chapter one, chapter two, or section one, they say first love, second love. That's how they designate the chapters here. But so the first one is love is blind, but I don't believe that. Love is a showdown. It really is. Love always strikes unexpectedly. It's rather frustrating. Love is one big contradiction. I know that, but. And then gravity doesn't make people fall in love. I already know that. So it's kind of an interesting head nod from the author here saying that all the things we're not supposed to do when we fall in love with a person. So, because you just don't know what the other person is going to be. So basically, she goes through nursing school, and then she eventually gets to the hospital that Tindu is working at. And then when she starts talking to all the other nurses, they come to find out that Dr. Tindu here is actually one of the more strictest doctors, especially when it comes to his professional relationship when it comes to nurses. He is definitely a jerk. He is definitely a heart-stricken doctor, but you can tell as you go through the story that he really does care. He's very charming. He's very poetic when he's dealing with the patients, and all the nurses respect him for that, even though he is definitely hard on nurses. And then it just comes to a point that we've got our nurse here, Sakura. She has to make a choice about her progression. She has to figure out which department to go to further advance her career. And at first, she just wasn't sure. She realized that the person that she was crushing on at the very beginning of the story is a very big douche, essentially, and doesn't really treat nurses, I don't want to say respectively, but like I said, it's really hard on them when it comes to getting things right and to getting trained up. But she reluctantly decides to go ahead and go under the kind of mentorship of our doctor here, Tindu. So we go through the story. You see a lot of dynamic chemistry when it comes to these two particular characters. She's very happy and cheerful. He's very strict and to the point when they are on duty. Now, off duty, you can kind of see the charmness of each other kind of develop. He's still kind of a very strict individual, off the scenes a little bit, but very it's a little bit of a switch. Sometimes he is very charming, but there are instances where he flips a switch and he's that right down strict individual doctor again when it comes to this relationship. But really polar opposites when it comes to the personality. I wasn't sure where the story was going to go up until when they're presented with a dynamic when it comes to the patients that they're dealing with. When they have to deal with patients, you can see these two individual characters truly start to shine in their performance. Sometimes she makes some mistakes and he has to correct her. Other times, they're working beautifully together, and it's like it feels like they are already in a marriage type of situation because you can see them kind of slowly starting to work together. Um, but then near the end of the story, I'm not gonna spoil the ending of this volume because it's actually kind of interesting. But at the very end, you can see their chemistry starting to come together, and I'm actually kind of excited to see where the storyline goes. Normally, I'm not into lovey-dovey type of stories, but this one's kind of interesting just because of the dynamics of these two particular characters. This is one of those weird, obsessive love stories that could actually work. And so it's like you're wondering to see how the strict doctor gets loosened up by, a sweet and charming lady here. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. I would recommend it if you're into one of those crazy love stories. This could be the manga for you. So I'll read a little bit of a passage here from the. Yeah, we'll go ahead and read this particular section here. So at this rate, but I'm not strong enough. I'm trying to pull her up. Someone, anyone. So again, that's taken completely out of context, just to give you a short example here and show you the art style of this manga. The art style is beautiful. You can tell males from females. You can tell body composition. And that's something that I keep forgetting to review in the other mangas. Is that the art style is pretty good, distinctive, cheerful. It's really good. So, yeah, that's pretty much a recap of this particular story. Again, there's not a lot of action. It's more of character building, chemistry between polar opposite individuals. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Beauty and the Beast is kind of the best way I can describe it. Is that you've got Tendu, who's kind of the beast, very stern, very strict and foregoing. And then, you got the beauty of Sakura, the nurse, trying to, fall in love with the doctor here. So that's pretty much my recap of Volume 1. With that, guys, thank you so much for watching this overview of this particular manga. I'll see you on the next one.